Good morning, good morning, good morning, boys and girls. Here we go with the new and improved Thursday Reseller Live. How cool?
I wouldn't say improved and new. It's just, good old-fashioned Thursday morning at 7 a.m. for some of us.
Well,
But,
yeah,
at least got our eBay coffee, so we're ready to go.
ready to go. So I would like to introduce you all to my new co-host, Rob. And Rob, as he said, it is very early for him. So 10 a.m. where I am in Victoria, but 7 a.m. in Western Australia where Rob is from. So, yeah. Look, I did offer to start it a little bit later, but he thought we'd still go with the 7. So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob, for those that don't know you?
Not really, no. I'm Rob. I predominantly sell media on eBay in Australia. I've got a few eBay stores, of course, because why not? I've got Amazon, eBay kind of set up. So, yeah, it's basically my full-time job. Hey, Kate. So, yeah, full-time job. I do this full-time for myself. It is good fun. I enjoy it. It's, pays the bills.
Very good.
Lee.
And we have, good morning, Rob. Oh, you've said good morning to yourself. That's very good.
I know. Hey, Bronny. Hey, Blake.
Hey, Bronny. Bronny says she's excited to see what is in store today.
I'm excited always as well. Every day on eBay is another exciting day in paradise. Good morning, Mr. Octopus.
Hello, good morning, Baltimore. Blake. Blake wants to know, Blake says, good morning, keen to see who jumped into our grave.
I didn't do any digging. That was somebody else.
Oh, look, I don't think you took that much convincing, did you? Really?
A little bit. Hey, Cindy.
A little bit. So Cathan said, fingers crossed it's Charlene. Well, it's not, because Cathan was just wanting Charlene to be the one to turn up to tell all stories about me from back in my youth.
Well, that's what we all want, isn't it? DD?
Yeah, apparently. Mm-hmm. Mary Jo Coppercat from Arkansas.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
And yes.
How was everyone this morning?
Yes, everyone's good. So we had our little cannibal friend. That's Rach. We have to call her name's Rachel, but we call her Rach because she likes to have a Aussie nickname. So we're calling her Rach. She likes that. Catherine says, hi, Rob.
Hey, Jody.
And we have Lee. Woohoo, Rob. I set my alarm and then couldn't remember for a minute or two what I wanted to do so early.
That's what I thought as well, Lee. Don't you worry about that.
And we have Maya. Welcome, Maya. She's from Baltimore in the USA. Very good.
Yes.
Nice. And his lordship himself, Octo, said, this better be good. I've had to stop watching my video for this. Well, it's definitely going to be better than your video, Octo. So what can I say?
Hey, I enjoy Octo's content. It's great. It puts me to sleep at night. It's, really good.
Well, that's the second person that said it puts them to sleep. Sandra always says that it puts her to sleep. So there you go. No. And we've got Cindy. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome. Good morning, GG. Welcome, Rob, she says.
Good morning.
Octo says, Blake and I lost the bet. Sorry.
I'm really enjoying the new content format where it is split up into 4 little sections there. Because, sometimes with the hour-and-a-half long podcast, you would be sometimes halfway through, then you're getting through it, watching it, and then you've got to do something else. You've got to stop it, and then you've got to find your way back. So I really enjoy this long, the short-form content there.
Very good. Yeah, it seems to be there's only been a few people that have preferred the long form, and that will come out on Saturday in full. So everyone still gets a bit of everything, I suppose. They get the best of both worlds. Octo says, Blake and I lost the bet. We were guessing Commonwealth picked. Commonwealth picker, he meant to say. Yeah, sure.
If anyone can hear an echo, just let me know. I can turn the volume of GG down. I can mute her off.
Nothing about muting me off. Jody, good morning, Jody. How are you? Good to have you in. He says, howdy, Rob. Howdy goes with our bit of a... So I did, what do you think? I gave us a little bit of a theme without going too overboard.
How can I turn Leanne off there, Octo? I don't know how to do that yet. One day I'll learn.
I haven't given you control to be able to turn me off, so there you go. Adam books along with stuff. Thank God it's not another... He says, thank God it's not another sea creature.
Hey. I live nice and close to the ocean, Lees. You know, it's just a couple hundred meters down the road here, so I can always get one out for you guys.
Blake says, ha, 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 I should have guessed. Well, I did tell them that I needed to find someone with a suitable amount of, what shall we say, wit, humour, and sarcasm, banter, ability. You know, you seem to, enjoy.
So it was either me or a mirror.
Yeah. Something like that. Octo says it's a side effect of being an 8-foot handsome octopus. Oh, what is that? What is he going on about? Just turn Leanne into you. That's enough out of you. I'll use my I suppose I can. I'll be able to block you. Cathan says, nah, my mind was changed on the calamari bites when Octo mastered the editing. I'm cool with them now. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, it's taken him a while to learn how to do that. Octo says he's still trying to work it out.
Yeah.
And Mate says, I haven't caught up on my YouTube yet. My kids and grandchildren have been visiting from the UK for the last 3 weeks, so I didn't know that your lives with Octo and Blake had ended. Yeah, they dumped me, basically, Rachel. So, yeah. That's how that worked. Landshark Picker, good morning.
Good morning, Landshark. Good morning, Rachel.
So, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, like they had other things to go do, so they left me. And I had to find, thing. Yeah. So, there you go. So, Rob, would you like to tell us about your little international return that you've got going at the moment?
Oh, no, I think that's a story for another day. It hasn't finished yet, so it's still a nice, fun, just blossoming saga. So one of those ones. I woke up to 6 messages this morning from the Spire, and it's not the first time they've messaged me multiple times. So it is that one's going to be an ongoing one. So that will be for a future date, maybe going through that one.
But the basis, I was a bit interested in just the basis of it, which I mean, quite often can happen with anyone that sells media. It happens with everything because the buyers don't read the bloody listings properly. So
no, they don't, unfortunately. Yeah. So being a media seller, I'm sure a lot of people understand that media has different regions to, of course, counteract piracy for different countries, of course. So you've got regions 1 through 6, which of course cover the different countries. Region 1 being, of course, the US. Region 2 being UK and Europe, and of course, Region 4 being Australia here. So I did sell a Region 4 DVD to the US. And unfortunately, on this occasion, the buyer's player has not been able to play it because it is region locked. There is, it's multiple times in the listing where it is listed as, region 4, make sure you have the correct player. It is all in the description there. So it is a frustrating experience sometimes for people, and I completely understand that. There's only so much you can do to help the customer out the pre-purchasing, that you have it in your description, you have it in your item specifics, and you make sure it's in the images as well, kind of thing, just to make sure that your customer is informed. Of course, you are going to get some customers who do slip through the tracks, of course, on that one. But on this occasion, the customer is trying to blame us on this one, which I think is a little bit unfair, being that we are a seller, we don't have the ability to look into someone else's household and see, what kind of DVD player they have or what they're using the media for, kind of thing. So it is that frustrating kind of thing for us, which is a bit, frustrating, very frustrating. It's just basically just trying to educate the customer. We accept returns, absolutely, but on this occasion, it's going to be customer paid. And that is what is going to be the issue at the moment, where the customer doesn't want to have to pay for the return fee. So yeah, I guess that's a very, as a
In a
seller,
nutshell.
in a nutshell, as a seller, it's one of our things that we've got to deal with. So it's always just, look after the customer as best you can, see if you can find a solution amicably together. But, unfortunately on this occasion, it is, a little bit difficult because it is international shipping. It was close to a kilo, so the return shipping will be quite expensive, especially if we have to cop that there. So yeah, it's kind of annoying in that way. So
Yeah.
No, I understand why. Unfortunately, people still don't. I think it's a bit of miseducation from the media side of things, but it's just trying to basically educate your customers as best as possible in your listing.
Oh, you've gone black. What's happened? Oh, hang on. You've gone all funny. Jody said, what are you discussing today? Well, we're kind of going to discuss the fact that buyers don't read our listings a lot of the time. And like, I guess it doesn't kind of really matter what we try and do to fix it, does it? Like, even with clothing, like you put the pictures of the measurements in so that they may see it as opposed to reading it. And then you still get a message saying, oh, can I have the measurement for this? Can I have the measurement for that? Octo says, Rachel, I didn't think you were old enough to be a great-grandmother. And Rach says, shame, nice to meet Rob, though. So she's a shame that our old podcast, a live stream finished. John Roberts, what's going on in here? Yes, exactly what's going on in here, John Roberts.
Well, I thought this was a Discord server and I was just in the chat room. Got tricked into this place.
Yes. Well, we do spend a bit of time in the chat room in one of them, one or other of them. Jody says, happy leap year day, everyone. Well, it is too. Happy leap year day. So all you girls, if you've got fellas and you want to propose, today's the day. Isn't that right?
What?
I think.
I don't know.
Well, it is.
Then you can kind of say, when you're 70, 80-year-olds like yourself, you can say, look, I'm only, 12, 13.
No, not quite. I wasn't kind of thinking that way. Rach says, I'm not a great-grandma yet, although she is great. Maya says, I can't believe people still don't understand region codes on DVDs. Regardless, I think people can play them on their laptop. You may just have to download a DVD program to read them. True. Oh, look at that. Octo's sent a lovely little donation there, a little super sticker for $7.99, just so that he can promote his own calamari bites.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Collection, can't it? And the pillowcases.
Yeah, go over to Octo's channel because he's still putting out content, which is good. Blake says, you all just like the editing because he skipped past what I had to say. No. Lee says, Rob, would eBay consider you should accept a return, or would you be okay if you said not and get a defect on your account?
I mean, it's completely up to the rep that you speak to in this regards, as long as you can show that you are trying to work with the customer, and the customer in this occasion hasn't been at fault on this occasion, so it is trying to work with the customer as best as possible. The biggest problem I have is that there is going to be a loss in value of the product that I did send because it was brand new and sealed. So there is going to be a deduction there in regards to a return anyway because of that fact. So
yeah.
You go by the eBay processes, you go by the eBay, partial refund processes as well, just so that you are not only just protecting your business, but it's also as well helping your customer as well. Because the problem is sometimes when you want to help your customer and you go a little bit too far, then you sometimes can admit fault. And, on this occasion, we haven't been the ones at fault here. It has been the customer. So it is that difficult sense of, do I help the customer? Do I not help the customer? And how far do I actually go to help the customer kind of? So, it is one of those difficult situations that, you just got to make sure that you are covering yourself. So, in the end, if the customer does open, for example, I'm guessing that this customer will probably go down the route of item not as described. So it's then going to be down later on the track. Will be the appeal process through eBay.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. That a customer can force you into the return, depending on that kind of stuff. But no, it's not going to be getting a defect, because in the long run, if you do have a return for an item not described, I have to accept it. I have to take it. Otherwise, I don't get my product back, and the customer gets a refund. So, I think that's going to be probably the worst situation here. It is going to be trying to work it out, I guess, with them. So, yeah, it's one of those difficult situations there, because as well, because it is an international seller, that you are also dealing with a eBay International as well. So the buyer was the US, so you're dealing with eBay US rules, which do differ slightly from eBay Australia rules. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad that books don't have a region code. Caven says, I wonder if you can get them to send their DVD player model number. You might be able to find an unlock code. Now, was it you telling us the other day, you had an issue a while ago, didn't you, where didn't they want you to find them a DVD player that they could play their, not this person, but someone else?
Yes, I have had that before, and they wanted me to send through a DVD player for them as a resolution. Unfortunately, that is not a resolution that is able to be basically put through, I guess, with the best way to put it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
that's it. Yeah, I thought that's one of the best ones that I've heard, like, stupid things that they ask you to do. Jody says, I've just started selling.
I wouldn't say it's stupid. It's basically, it is that sense of panic that's setting in from your customer. Yeah. Basically, I've just spent all this money on this item with international shipping, and it's now not working. It's kind of that sort of freak out sort of situation of, what do I do? How can I get this resolved? And sometimes, unfortunately, their resolution that comes first into mind might not be the best solution for the situation there. So, yeah, it is what it is. So it's just helping the customer out as much as possible.
Just, some of the strange things you get asked as a seller. Oh, the sun's gone under a cloud, so my skylight, all the light coming in my skylight's just disappeared. Jody says, I've just started selling to the USA and had about 4 sales so far. I send a message to the buyer, double checking with them that it's a different region. Yeah, you can do that. But like, if you're doing the amount that Rob's doing, that's probably not.
Yeah, so we send about probably 2 to 3 items internationally. So today I've got 3 international parcels going out in our shipment. That's all been done so far this morning, because, I'm up so early in the morning. It is, because we have same day shipping, it is difficult in that part that, by the time you do connect with your customer, especially with the different time zones, that, you might not get the response back in time. And what do you kind of do then once you have sent it? It's difficult, very difficult to get the parcel back from Australia Post sometimes. So sometimes it can be done, but sometimes, most of the time, it is very difficult to get your parcel recalled. So, yeah.
Yeah. Mo says, I remember people used to do that with NTSC versus PAL format. Yeah.
So that's still an issue.
There you go. John Roberts says, we have a lady today who has been working with us, who works at Bunnings, I'll say, give Bunnings a plug, who has been working with us for well over 10 years. Today she turns 19.
19?
Yeah. So, because she was born today, it's a birthday today.
Yes.
So if you multiply that by 4, you'll find out really how old she is.
I say hiring earlier, but 9 years old.
Yeah.
Old West Farm.
Might have broken a few laws there if she'd been employed at 9.
She'll be right. She'll be right.
Yeah. Re-commerce Dave says, good morning, Gigi and Rob. Share Rob's pain. Now always email them to confirm that they understand the region code. People just simply buy and plug it in. Yeah. And look, that's part of the society, the way it is, though, isn't it? Like, everything's just plug and play, or, everything works so easily. And with advances in technology on the internet and stuff, everything generally does play so easily. But then when we come to something like a DVD, I actually had someone message me about, I had a VHS set of, I think it was Walking with Dinosaurs or one of those, Walking with the Beasts or something that David Edinburgh had done. And yeah, they wanted to know, did it have Spanish language?
Yeah.
Hola. No, it
That's
doesn't.
another thing with VHS. You can also still have issues with the VHS region as well, which a lot of people don't realize is with the video format with NTSC and PAL, we've actually got 3 years and also another smaller one as well. But you can still have issues with VHS as well with video format where customer might put their video in, but because the frame rate is just that little bit different, they can still have problems with VHS as well. So that is also another thing you can look out for too, which of course is always great as a media seller.
Yeah, well, when they messaged me, they said, "Is this DVD got Spanish on it?" So I said, "Sorry, it's not a DVD. It's actually a VHS." So then when they messaged me back and said, "Okay, but does your VHS have Spanish?" No, doesn't have all different languages on it. Blake says, "Go smash his still octos, that is. Just like button, please." Jody says, "People can get refunds even if eBay decide to side with you, lodging a dispute with PayPal and get their money back. Can you dispute PayPal like you can eBay?"
I mean, you can always put through a payment dispute with the payment provider. So whether it be with PayPal or your financial institution, you always have that recourse as well. But if you've already gone down the path of going for an item not as described kind of thing, and that gets declined by eBay, then it is against the user agreement of eBay to then go and do a payment dispute. It's their policy, but depending on the action that eBay take in that regard, it's completely up to them in their books. So, as long as you've done everything that you can, you haven't described the item correctly. If it was our error and we've described it as a region 1 DVD, when it's actually a region 4, then of course then it's our error. But if it's not our error, then we'll try and help the customer as much as possible, and then moving forward from there.
Yeah. Maya says, "You can, but last I checked, PayPal requires you to send the item back." And then she said, "I've only had to file a charge back through PayPal one time. It was an item I bought from Japan, so I had to pay to ship it back to Japan. It was an expensive item, but I doubt it would be worth it for this buyer to pay to mail back a DVD to Australia." This is just for PayPal, by the way. I've never filed through my credit card company, so it should be different. So it could be different if they went through their card. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, it's like PayPal. Credit card disputes are of course different throughout the world. So depending on the time frames. Here in Australia, I think the default is 180 days with both Visa and MasterCard. I know some higher tier credit cards do have up to 365-day protection.
Wow.
But that's up to the financial institution there as well. So, yeah, if anything that does happen, it's just basically you speak to your bank and go from there kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a fun one. As long as you've got all your documentation or all the stuff that you've done properly as a seller, then most of the time you're fine.
So generally, like for you with media, like, so obviously you have lower price, you'd have media that's from a lower priced item up to big dollars. So at what point, say with something that's from the US, say you've sent something over there and they want to return it, at what point with dollar wise would you just refund them versus and let them keep it versus getting them to send them back, or do you generally still get them to send it back?
Internationally, it's to protect your account. It's going through those return processes, because if you do process a refund straight away from the customer without getting your item back, you're not really eligible to get any negative feedback removed and that sort of stuff. So to protect yourself as a seller, it's always trying to follow the return processes as much as possible. And that way it covers your back as well. A lot of us don't really want to have returns sometimes. And sometimes domestically, I will go outside that return function as well to provide a return label, that sort of stuff, just to sort of, keep down the returns. But, an international item, you really want to go through that return process, because you're dealing with eBay Australia, you're dealing with eBay, the country that the purchaser is purchased from. And so that can be a little bit of a tricky situation sometimes, trying to go through those two different processes there that you want to get your T's and I's, everything dotted and crossed, to basically make sure that you don't get either a defect or you don't get any negative feedback because of the transaction, and that you are following eBay's processes. And eBay do prefer it when you do follow their processes, of course.
Yeah. And I will say, for everyone watching, in our little Discord group, which is Grumpy Granny's Discord, if you want to come over and join, if you're not already a member, we call Rob the king of policies, don't we, Rob?
Yeah, I like a good policy. It gives that structure there. So, I like structure. Being neurodiverse, you do enjoy that sort of structure there, and you kind of get to learn the policies as you go along, kind of thing. So, yeah, policy gives you that structure there of it gives you the guiding path of where to go and how to do things. Sort of thing.
Yeah. Yes, it's and it is good to have someone that can lead you to the right policy and tell you. We get a lot of questions asked in the Discord, and Rob will put the link up for the relevant policy so people can go and actually read it themselves. Jody says, PayPal just refunded them. I didn't get any message that they had to send the item back, although it's on me for not checking with PayPal. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, there again is a case of, you probably do need to look at what the policy is there with PayPal just to see. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just knowing your policy, especially as a full-time seller. You really got to know your basics of the policies around, sending refunds and what you can and can't do on the platform. There's your basic ones you got to know off by heart, kind of thing. And then, when you do have a more complex topic come up, that's when you do your research as well. So, you do sometimes get the oddballs that are thrown against you, which, is always fun to, work around. But, the answers are all pretty much there if you do know where to look for them. A lot of those times, you're just typing in Google, basically, eBay policy, and then, you type in the sort of subject, and it will usually bring up a policy for you.
Yeah. Rob's put the link for my Discord in there if anyone wants to go and check it out. We've got quite a community now, haven't we?
I hope it's good useful.
Just say GG, so I think you got the right one. We've actually the little community in there is really good now, and there's quite a few of us that meet regularly in the one or other of the chat and voice rooms, and we don't always turn the camera on. We just have voice chats and stuff a lot of the time, and it's good. And yeah. So we had a really good book club meeting too on Tuesday night. What did you think of that?
It was really good. It was really great.
Because I know how much you love books.
I sell one book on eBay and that's it, and it's great. It's inventory listing. So every time I get new this kind of book, I just pop the the inventory number up, and I'm good to go. So yeah. And it sells quite good for me, which is great. There's no additional photos. It's one listing. It's a nice, little seller for me there, that one.
A little replenishable book.
That's the one. Those are great ones to
have. Maya says, pardon me, it's been a few years for me, but I was messaging with the store, and I think sellers have to go on and respond to the dispute to provide a return address. Okay. All right. So Rach wants to know, where are you in WA, Rob?
I'm south of Perth. It's still Metro just, but I'm down Mandurah way. So it's just on the cusp of Metro, which I'm very lucky for. It's fairly close. If I was a little bit further down. Of course, Perth, of course, is the most isolated major capital city in the world. Which is great for us, everything, nothing really comes here, like Taylor Swift, of course. She doesn't come here because it's too far away. But yeah, Perth is quite a, diverse sort of region where everything is very spread out. So I'm down south of Perth, which is about 100 k's away. So Perth goes from Mandurah pretty much all the way through to Turock. So it's about just over 200 k's from top to bottom of the metropolitan area. So it is quite a big, very big metropolitan area. Of course, it goes east around 50 k's as well to sort of Mundaring area.
Well, we often hear that talk that how Western Australia would like to secede from the Commonwealth. Isn't that right? Yeah, you're in that too.
We'll be all right. We can survive. We got our GS. We got our royals.
Maya says, looking on PayPal's website for claims, it looks like they require the merchant to respond within 10 days or it automatically closes in the buyer's favour. Well, there you go. See, and that's
Absolutely.
the thing, knowing the policy.
You've always got to respond to it. So the moment that you don't respond to a dispute, you're basically, just like in a court situation, you're giving up basically. So, it's always 100% what I, definitely will tell people is always respond to a dispute, even if it's, just a little bit of information or if you think it's not, relevant, always respond to a dispute. Because the moment you don't respond to a dispute, you've lost. Yeah.
And you can always just reply back simply that we'll look into it for you and get back to you as soon as we can. Like it's just, the buyers that have got an issue, I've always found will be a lot less disgruntled, for want of a better word, if you actually make that contact and actually say, okay, I can't tell you right off the top of my head right now, but I will look into it and I'll get back to you. So,
but of course, we do say that to a customer. Just make sure you actually do get back to them.
Yes.
Because, just saying that we'll get back to you and you don't get back to them. But the most important thing is if you have a tracking number, make sure you include your tracking number. And then any other relevant details about the case as well, just put them up. But if you don't have a tracking number, you've lost the case. So it's best to sort of, give up as early as possible so you don't get stung with any additional fees and chargeback fees as well. So, if someone does open a dispute and it is for an untracked item, you've got to take it on the chin, unfortunately. So, that is one of our things that we do sell untracked. So, it's a risk that we take. But you don't get that. So that's good.
Jody says she's transitioning from a small eBay seller to reseller extraordinaire. Well done, Jody. Jody says, what is the top media seller for you besides Taylor Swift?
Anything British. A lot of the British stuff for me. I'm very lucky in my demographic here that I do have a lot of Acorn Media, ITV, that I do get my hands on basically. So, a lot of that sells really well to not only Australia, but also the US and the UK as well. But definitely anything British, sort of thing, British crime series a lot. So, those are my big ones.
So do you think a lot of that stuff doesn't get actually published over there or released over there? Is that why? Or wasn't back in the day perhaps when it was made?
I think because it is such a small market over there, because not a lot of people actually watch it in the US because it isn't really their style. It is difficult to get their hands on. So a lot of it is imported from other countries. So I've sold multiple sets of Midsummer Murders complete because everyone loves Midsummer Murders over there. That will go over there. Heart of Dixie is a big one that we sell over there. You do sell quite a few things. Even ER, an American, medical drama that is even that we send over to the US. So it is quite interesting the fact that you do send some very interesting stuff over internationally, especially. But if you can find, of course, Offspring, an Australian series there, if you have the full set, it will go definitely to the US. I can pretty much guarantee that. As long as you have the full set, of course. I think it's 1 to 7 or 1 to 8 on the two, but how it goes to the US.
Now, I know a while ago you had an interesting one that you're pretty proud of yourself, where you sold a particular DVD set to an interesting country.
Yes, I was able to sell Gossip Girl, the full series box set, internationally to South Korea. I made a profit on it too. Everyone's favorite TV series that everyone can never ever sell. I somehow managed to sell it off a box set through to South Korea. I don't know how, but
Well, I was going to say, the fact that you sold Gossip Girl in the first place is,
That's one of the series that we will come across quite a lot in the thrift stores, especially. That looks great, you know, it just doesn't sell. It doesn't move. You know, I've got a few sets in the store, and it's collecting dust, and you can't really reduce it down too much because there are so many competitors out there. It's just one of those things that is very difficult to sell, unfortunately. So because the market is so flooded, it's, you know, Gossip Girl, you've got the OC, all those sort of teen sort of TV series back in the 2000s, you know, that were mass produced because everyone wants it for Christmas. That there is so much content out there. It is difficult. Exactly, Dave. They want to
it was good. So Rach is actually in Fremantle. There you go.
Okay, so you're close-ish. Fremantle, nice, much better. Apart from the seafood, I don't like that. That's just no. You can keep this. Oh yes, Cicerellos in Fremantle. They do awesome food up there, of course. Absolutely. That's probably one of the biggest tourist attractions up in Fremantle is Cicerellos, and also with all little creatures as well, which is a great brewery. Yes, good foods, good atmosphere up there.
Yeah. I did go to Fremantle when I went to Western Australia many years ago.
Is that when you came on the ship?
No. I flew over there actually. Yeah, I did, didn't I? That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I think it might have been the first time I ever went in an aeroplane actually. But yeah, Jody was funny. Yeah, look, it did have an engine, but it didn't have a chute to get me out, so I had to actually parachute out and land. Jody wants to know, what packaging do you use for CDs and DVDs?
So the DVDs, you know, I've got the philosophy of basically, I want to make sure that when I'm selling an item, that it gets to the customer in the same condition as it is photographed. So it is putting as much protection on there as possible. So the DVDs, we use bubble mailers, of course, which is the PM1 size. You buy it from Australia Post, which they are expensive from there. But you can buy them generically elsewhere as well. We use Jiffies. Be a PM1 size bubble mailer. That does the best job of protecting it as much as possible because it is going through the mail system. Because it is bulky, it does get hand sorted, or it's meant to get hand sorted, and it doesn't really go through the machine, which is great. But you know, bubble mailer is definitely for DVDs. And then for CDs, because they do have those dual cases, we prefer to go with a box on that one. So we did start off with the Australia Post CD boxes, and we have moved, of course, to another provider now, which is about less than half the price of that. Because unfortunately in Australia compared to the US, we actually have to pay for our postage supplies, where a lot of stuff in the US, you actually do get it provided by the postal carrier. But unfortunately, we do not have that luxury here. So
and like in the US too, they have the medium mail postage rate too, which would just be ideal. But we don't have that, unfortunately.
Actually, it's not too bad. If you look at the medium mail compared to their parcel rates, because the US postal system is completely different to Australia, it's done by zones and regions. It is quite comparable to Australia's parcel system for the bigger sort of parcels. The smaller parcels, of course, are a lot cheaper, but for the bigger ones are actually quite comparable.
Yeah. I mean, because that's part of it's interesting, because it costs them more to send something from one side of the country to the other, whereas at least here the rate's the same whether you're sending it, 2 suburbs over, or whether you're sending it from me to Western Australia. Caven says British peeps make the best TV shows. They make very good crime shows, I do have to say. Maya says, hey, Gigi, I'm Depop in the US, and I sometimes get Australian buyers and Canadians asking if I can ship international. Does Australia have buyer protection buying on Depop? The policy only mentions US and UK. Well, good question. I mean, I sell on Depop, but I haven't been doing it for that long. So, yeah, I will have to look into that and see, because I can't answer that. So I do not know. Yes, Dave's talking about your Gossip Girl thing that they wanted a door stopper.
Yeah, before.
Maya says, the reason I'm asking is because I used to ship international with my own label, but now they only have seller protection if you use Depop labels. Okay. Yeah, because we don't have that here in Australia either, because we have to do our own shipping, manual shipping anyway. That we can't go through Depop to do the shipping like you can on eBay. So Catherine says, I think the weirdest thing I've ever sold overseas was a bear in the Big Blue House book to Malta. Including the shipping, they paid something like $70. Yep, good one. Yeah, the bear in the Big Blue House. People like that everywhere.
They do.
Lee, here you go, Lee.
If you can find a kid's DVD that hasn't been scratched up, that looks like it's been put in the concrete and just used as a scourer, a lot of them do sell quite well. But the ones that
you've gone black again. Your thing must be timing out, is it?
I think it's 30 minutes. I've got to fix it up maybe for next time. So
yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, that is. I can see you now. Lee says, Great. Grumpy Granny, maybe we can do a fundraiser and get you over for a visit.
Just what do you got?
Skylanders.
Yeah.
No. Did you have to?
Yes, because he did ask.
And he says down here, I'm concerned over the lack of Skylander talk. Yes, I'm not at all.
So, Octo, this is for you, Cool now. This is item number 137224. This is the clock tower of the Skylanders series. Just $14.99 plus postage and handling. Buy it now.
I was about to say, are you pulling out the really expensive ones to show them how you've got all the good ones?
I don't know which one is expensive or not, but that's all for our new store that we're opening up soon. So, yeah.
Oh, yes. So, do you want to tell us about that one?
Not right now, no.
Okay, all right. Well, you've got that to wait because I do know. Well, the thing is, Rob is opening up a new store. That's something a bit different to what he's doing now. So I guess he'll tell us that as time goes on. Jody says, Recommerce Dave, does this mean we need to update our DVD sets not selling to Great Door Stopper? You could put that in the description. So I found a good description the other day on a set of it might have been Beast Quest books, and the person had put up something like a full set of Beast Quest books. My son loved these a lot. This is the title. My son loved these a lot. Good to well loved or thing. That was the title. Excellent.
Exactly that.
Yeah. And they sold them too. That was because I got that off therapy. Bax says good morning. He says morning all. Morning, Bax.
This is the
welcome.
Unfortunately, he has lost his thing. I believe I have it here somewhere. It got broken off, but when you get some Skylanders for free, you don't really kind of care about that sort of stuff. It will be, listed, of course, as.
I think it's banned in my shire. I think Skylanders are banned in my shire because I never ever see them. Never. No, it's not.
Well, at least
is Depop worth getting into? Jody wants to know. Well, I think so. Depending on what you're selling, if you're selling clothing, I think it's very worthwhile. And that's coming from me that was always going to be just an eBay person. I was never going to cross list. But yeah, since I've started cross listing, and I think I'm going to say, what's today? Thursday. I think Tuesday I did a sale, and then I got a notification through from them that I'd actually sold my first 50 items. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And it's some of the stuff that doesn't sell on eBay will sell on Depop. Strange, but don't know why that works. But it does. Octo said PayPal would be the protection. Yeah. Maya says, disgruntled octopus. So I guess I'm wondering if it's safe for me to ship there with my own label and not get scammed. I think Depop US got rid of PayPal too. Oh, did they? Right. Okay. Well, I mean, no one in Australia is going to rip you off, are they? Like, because we're all just such good people, I think. Maybe.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Dave
Yeah.
says, here at Jodester's for or great gift, not. Yeah, that's for the Gossip Girl ones. Pardon me. A little bit of the smoke that from the fires around. It's giving me a little bit of asthma. Beck says, was that a Skylander practice for when Whatnot comes?
Exactly. I'm excited
Yeah.
for Whatnot. I'll be able to put DVDs on and, we can watch them together. And because we watch them together, no one will buy them. So, I think Whatnot coming to Australia will be a really different marketplace for us. I think it'll be fun. I don't think it's for everyone, of course, but, it's a new selling platform. It's something fun that we can all get into. I don't know if the market is going to be there for Whatnot. So I know Australia is very, very conservative with its buying practices. They don't really like new sort of things, which is unfortunately why, one of the major sort of retailers did close down, which I know you're part of. They're grumpy granny that, you got a couple of days notice and we're closing down because the market isn't that good here in Australia. It is difficult to break into the markets here in Australia because of that,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited for Whatnot. I really want to get into it. Like, I think I could have lots of fun, and I could be selling one of my Enid Blyton books. Look, boys and girls, here's an Enid Blyton book. Would you like me to read you the first page? This one's called The Magic Motor Car. Well, it's got Mr. Bong.
So I can just do a book reading of that, can't I?
Yeah, Mr. Bong is in this book. Interesting. Oh, dear. Some of the names that they used in the books are very interesting. Octo says, Mayor, I don't foresee an issue with shipping to Australia or Canada. No, because we're all very nice people. Octo says, I use the broken ones as freebies. Yes, he does. Kathan says, so when you say it's broken, so it's broken off, like a bit of it's broken off. It's not like the arms come off. So it would have to be like glued back on.
Let me see if I can find this joyful thing of joy. I know it's here somewhere because I was cleaning it the other day. Might not be this time. Here it is. So I don't know if you can see this. So it is the Bowser, but unfortunately his little
right. Okay.
come off because a very disgruntled octopus may have thrown it around. So
it's a significant bit that's come off, isn't it?
It's a very much aesthetic part of it, which has come off. So it is for the most collectors. It is a disappointing that it is going to be broken. So I think what Octo has said is probably going to be the best idea is to sell it as put it in as a freebie kind of thing. So the last thing we do is disappoint your customer and have a very negative experience. So yeah.
True. Oh, Kathan says, well done on 50 Depop sales, did you? Thank you, Kathan. Jody says, congratulations on 50 Depop sales. Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like, I mean, 50, that's good. That's good. Because I haven't been doing it for that long, so it's building up. I must say, like, talking of buyers sending silly questions, but some Depop buyers send really silly questions sometimes. Maya says, thanks. Yeah, I've been shipping more to Australia recently on eBay using Pirate Ship, simple export rate, and had good experiences. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so we don't have that variety in shipping choices. John Roberts says, Whatnot with only 25 watching.
I mean, some of
it's 28 now.
Some of the Whatnot shows are quite successful. I think with Whatnot, it is a very much, you need to have a social media following. You need to have that social media sort of presence to be able to be on Whatnot, to be able to sell the volume to survive kind of thing. I do have the app on my phone. I do watch it every so often, and there are some awesome, fantastic, charismatic sellers on Whatnot, and there are some really, really not the best sort of channels to look at as well. So you can kind of see where the winners are and where the not so successful sort of teams are. And it all comes down to the charisma, especially with Whatnot, because you are on the camera. You've got to have that charisma. You've got to be able to connect with your customer as well and be able to show, it's all in the hands, hands of showing what you're selling. You've got to be able to almost describe your item to your customer as if it was in their hands and they're touching it. So, when you're holding this up to your camera, it's not just, this is a toy. It's, is trying to show all the different features of it, get as much close as possible, show, make it look as presentable as possible. And, describe it, it's a beautiful red color. It's got a nice cannon on it. The facial expression is, one of joy. It's going to be great for your collection. It's all about selling that to your customer. So, a good way of probably practicing would be to watch, something like QVC for you guys in America or TVSN to sort of see how they sell it to your customer before you actually put it yourself, of course. But, it's all about that charisma. It's all about, showing that item and making it that experience on camera to try and get that customer to, purchase your items.
Yeah, and I think, we often hear that thing about knowing your keywords on eBay, don't we? But I think you're going to need to know a lot more keywords and descriptive words when you're doing something like Whatnot to give that feeling and make the people, think that they know what they're getting. Jodie says Enid Blyton has some funny names. Yes, she does. Yes. Oh, so we were looking at one of the books with the Amelia. Amelia, yes. There's Naughty Amelia and Amelia Strikes Again and stuff. But it's quite interesting because I've got some of the older books. They're all Enid Blyton's behind me there. And then I've got some older ones as well. And it's interesting on the newer, like from the 80s onwards, they changed it because there was a little gollywog always on the front cover that was part of the little toy gang that is in those books. And, they took him out. Didn't replace him with anything either. John Roberts says, I don't want to get caught up buying the OC. Another one. Yeah,
I've got a few of those over there. It's again one of those great series that will sit on your shelf unless you have it for really cheap and you're losing money on it. It's not one to look out for in the stores. It's not one to sell. It is one of those horrible ones that will just sit there forever.
Yeah, it's not even worth picking up as a filler. For your store, really.
You got to think of the time and effort. You're selling the full series for it's like $18, $19, and you're just struggling to get that into a small size satchel to try and get it out to your customer. If you can't get it to a small, then you're pretty much almost going to be losing money, and especially with something like the OC. Highly likely is going to a regional area, so you are paying for the my post business regional postage rates. So you're looking at $10 to send the item. Even if you get it for free, it is a hard sell. It's not worth putting your time there. You can have it in city girls. The heels. I got a beautiful, great box set of. I think it's the heels, something else, and I got it for free. It's great. I don't see it selling anytime soon. So, it's one of those things that is just going to sit there on your shelf, unfortunately. But, hopefully one day it'll sell and, you can take yourself out for a nice meagering dinner with the profits that you make.
Well, that's what you hope so. Jen says, hi, Gigi, just tuned in. Jen, meet Rob. Rob, meet Jen.
Hey, Jen, how are you? Good morning.
Maya says, oh yeah, LOL, and on Depop they send offers and you accept and they never pay. Yeah. Look, I guess, and that was, I found that really frustrating at the start, that they just, nothing happens. But the best part is your item is still available for sale. Unlike on eBay where they send you an offer, you accept it. If they don't then go and pay for it, it sits there and you've got to wait 4 days before you can do anything with it. So, once I realised that and the advantage of doing it that way, I'll just accept the offer and figure they're not going to pay.
Yeah, I think that's really a great system that Depop have that's different to eBay, that, it is available to purchase even though the customer hasn't, they've gone to the process of buying it. but they haven't yet paid for it. I think it's a really interesting process. I don't know if eBay will accept that kind of process, because I know with eBay it's very much more about the customer experience sort of aspect to keep the customers returning. So, I think it's a great idea that, if your item hasn't been paid for, that it's still available. Experience-wise for your buyers, though, I don't know, the best experience it would be for that initial customer. It might drive them away from the platform. So it is one of those really great ideas in a way, but it's also can be negative as well at the same time. So yeah,
that's true. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there was some talk that eBay was going to bring out something like that, but we'll see what happens in the future.
Report.
Oh, so hang on, I've just skipped one or two. Oh, yes, that's right. So Jody then says, Maya, where are you? And she said she's in Maryland in the USA. Jody says, Maya, cool, love to visit the USA again. I've never been overseas, international. Well, when I say that, I have been overseas because I've been to Tasmania and I've been to Rottnest Island and I've been to the Whitsunday Islands, but I've never actually been anywhere international. So there you go. Jen says, hi, Rob. Are you a regular now on Leanne's channel as co-host? Yes.
It depends if you guys like me or not, but maybe. I don't know. It was very difficult waking up this morning. I would have much preferred to have been sleeping still. It's not like anywhere she can just pop on live. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's Rob gets up at 5, get his orders done, and then come on here, and I'm still almost, I'm like Blake, you're up at 5 and you're like, wee.
Yes, so but it takes me a lot longer to get ready, you realise, because I have to put the rollers in and the makeup on. Like, do you just have to do a bit of grooming and put your hat on? Like,
just a bit of grooming and put the hat on. Okay, yep.
I'm going to go with that. Jody says, look like you guys can do your own Whatnot live. Well, we could. Yeah, it'd be good. Would be good. Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I mean, I actually really just want to have a go at Whatnot. I'm actually, I keep saying that. And I keep saying that I should contact Whatnot and say, look, here I am. I've got a little bit of a social media presence. Give me an account and I'll be the first person in Australia to get going. But yeah.
No, I think one of my dream jobs as a child was wanting to be like a QVC or a TVSN presenter. I think that would be really good fun. You're playing around with product, you're presenting to people, you're presenting solutions to people. It looks really, really fun. It's not that just trying to flog everything to someone. It looks really good fun that you are presenting really good solutions to customers and you get to demonstrate it properly as well. And the customers are comfortable in their own home. I know like myself being neurodiverse, I know sometimes it can be a struggle going into a retail setting. It is difficult sometimes talking to people and talking to strangers. This has really put myself out of the comfort zone, of course, but it's always about challenging myself. But I think, as a young child, it was always watching those shows and you think, I could do that maybe,
Yeah.
And, it looks like good fun. So it is great that potentially Whatnot is coming to Australia, that you can have that kind of fun with customers. You can have that fun. You can really present yourself, really present your store. And especially with Whatnot, it is, fast paced that you are getting things through. So it's not like it's a long format where, it's selling, hundreds or thousands of items, in a 30-minute segment or a half hour segment. It is basically, you are trying to get things through as quick as possible. So it is a different format, of course, with that regards. But as long as you're presenting the item fine and you are engaging with your customers, that you can probably get a good following for Whatnot as long as you get the viewers in it. So
yeah, for sure, definitely. No, I quite agree with you. And look, I'm quite used to speaking to neurodiverse people. You realise?
Talking to the mirror.
Oh, no, well, yeah, I'm talking to the mirror is one, talking to my daughter's another. She's very neurodiverse. She needs she's a princess.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I mean, when they come to visit me and my family. Oh, hang on. I must have missed a comment. where did you go when you visited before? I'm close to Washington. So whenever people come to visit, they always want to go to DC. Okay.
Washington's very humid right now when I went there. So it's just like New York. It's very humid, like it has been here for the last couple of weeks. It's I don't like. I kind of like it, but I don't like it at the same time. So yeah, it's like being in Broome.
Yeah. It's not quite as hot at times. Maya says, I mean when they're coming to visit me and my family. Yeah, okay. Jody says, I've just done some sale events. Seems to have reduced sales. Have you found that? As in markdown sales on eBay? I'm assuming that you're asking. Yeah, look, I've stopped using the markdown sales some time ago, and I haven't done one for a while. I probably should do one just to test the waters again and see, because I just found no traction at all. I was getting much better traction off coupons, and I'm actually trying some volume discounting at the moment, doing, like buy two, get one free with some of my books. Yeah, it seems to be getting people to buy the books, but they're only buying one, so I need to get them to buy more than one. Jody says they replaced the gollywog with a man. Oh, well, yeah, not on the cover, they didn't. On the ones I've got, anyway. My husband is scared of gollywog. His mum used to tell him they were under his bed. I thought you meant to tell him monsters under your bed, not a gollywog. Gosh. Oh, yeah, City Girl, says Dave. Maya says, yeah, GG, I just had an order cancelled yesterday for non-payment. The offer screen promised immediate payment, so I accepted it, but the payment never came in, and they never came back to pay. Yeah. I surprisingly had one this week where, they did actually respond to me and say, I'm really sorry, I found another one of those, which was a vintage Juicy Couture terry toweling hoodie, just something a bit different. And they messaged me back and said they had found, they didn't think it would fit them, so would I cancel the sale? Yeah, happy. And that's okay. At least they let me know. So, yeah. Didn't have to wait. Dave says, wish Salvos and Vinnies had the 20% discount voucher for donations like Savers. Those box sets would then have a use.
I mean, Vinnies, you can get stamps on your little card for your going towards 15% off, for each donation. It's not, a guaranteed 20% off, like I believe Savers have, of course, over each. But you do get your stamp when you do donate, so we get that over here in WA. So, yeah, it's, you kind of want a little bit back from them sometimes if you do give them quality stuff, of course. I don't know if Gossip Girl would be quality stuff or OC, but,
you might be able to put it in a pretty bag or something. They might like it, yeah. So, yeah. Jody says, I've had a lot of people buy when I've made an offer and not paid. Then you have to wait a while to relist. Very annoying. Yeah, it is. It's frustrating. I find, well, and I mean, it's not so much that you've got to look. If they're going to have some wait period, that's fine. But 24 hours would be enough. Honestly, I think, in my opinion. Blake says 5 a.m. start, 10 a.m. power nap time.
I wish.
Well,
it's just 8 o'clock here, so I really like 8:04. It'd be really nice and nice nap.
Yeah. Well, Blake tried to tell me that it's really great getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The only time I'm awake at 5 o'clock in the morning is if I haven't gone to bed the night before. So, yeah.
I'm always a morning person anyway, so I'm always up early in the morning, especially in WA, especially in summer where it is quite warm. Like it has been quite a horrendous summer here at the moment, so I have been changing my sleeping patterns to get up to be able to get work done, just so it isn't that hot, But working throughout the day in this environment here, it's not the best insulated environment, so it does get a little bit warm. So, I try and do as much as I can in the morning, and then when it's done in the afternoon, it's basically go back inside into the beautiful climate controlled area. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'll ask Rob what's the weather like over there, and the response I get melting. Melting. That's his description. Dave says, and the chats with the cat. Yeah, I know. Got to have a good, pretty pet. Shane, yo. How are you, Shane? You're driving to work? Presumably. No. Oh, no, that's at night time. Oh, look, I who knows? You'll be home from work now. Maya says, "Hey, what's up?" I presume she's saying hello to Shane
Miss
from
Joe
Outer City
does
Groups.
comments. TBSN is a good option, as most of the eBay resellers are always up that late listing. Absolutely. You know, you get to learn some very interesting describing words. You know, you can kind of very much get the sense of when a presenter doesn't like an item sometimes, and you know, they are struggling to, you know, either drink that concoction, eat the horrible food, or you know, sit down on the comfy lounge when it isn't really that comfortable, and trying to use the electronic products as well when they're not working the best. But you know, you really do learn those really important describing words when you are trying to list to your customers that you can put into either your description or into your title to make things more appealing. So, you know, I think that's one of the good things that you do learn from your home shopping channels is, you know, those magical describing words and being able to present your product. So, you know, a lot of the times, especially that when you look at their product shots, you know, and I've used this like the lost in my store as well with DVD sets or anything big, it's trying to make things as big as possible and to fill up the screen as possible. And to make it look like, you know, you're getting this amazing deal, like with the home shopping, that, you know, they lay everything out perfectly and beautifully. You know, it looks really nice. It looks visually pleasing to your customers. You know, you'll sometimes see some pictures, they'll be blurry or they'll be unclear, they'll be dark, or it's just, you know, someone hasn't presented the picture of the item the best that they can. And if you can present your item in the best light as possible, then you know that's one of the most important things in your listing, because
100%.
a lot of people ignore the title and they'll just go by a picture sometimes, and they'll say, okay, that looks like a great picture, and they'll go to that. I know with Sandra recently had a great experience with her one book set that, you know, everyone else was just presenting it in the box, but Sandra took it out the box and she presented it beautifully outside the box, and it sold within 24 hours for a premium price as well. So you know, it is some of those things you do learn, that presentation for your items and trying to sell it as best as possible is something you can learn from those shows. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for home shopping. And yes, I may have purchased some things from myself, but you know, that's where I got my air fryer from, because I watched it so often. And I thought, wow, this is good. So yeah, great.
And I do have to say that you know, we talked about the Discord before, but like Sandra with her books, because we were all in the chat with her and you came in and said, you know, perhaps do this and that. She showed us a photo of how she was originally going to put the photos up, and so you got in, and then a couple of others got in and had a few bits to say, and then in the end you also did a bit of tweaking with the color and brightness of the photo to help her out, and it came out, it was fantastic. And you're right, she sold it within 24 hours and at a price better than some of the others that had it listed for. So,
you know, so you know, it shows that you can, if you present your item well and you present it beautifully and aesthetically pleasing to a customer's eye, that you can get that price there as well. So yeah,
for sure.
Great things that you can do on eBay, of course.
Yeah. So Jody just subscribed to Maya's channel. So everyone go over and subscribe to Maya's channel. And Jody says, are any other really bad sellers for DVDs not to buy?
I mean, anything flashback media?
How many? I don't have enough fingers.
Basic rule of thumb: if you've heard it before, probably not best to buy it. That's usually one big sort of, you know, if it's a blockbuster, one, you know, those sort of things don't really sell the best, or they have a low sell rate or low sell through price. Yeah, rule of thumb: if you've heard it before, probably not best to get it. Kind of thing. It's not, of course, with everything, but you know, like Star Wars, the box sets 4, 5, and 6 sells for $20 every day. If you can get it cheap enough, you know, $1 to $2, you can turn it into good money. You know, even if it is going regionally, you can get good money for that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is. It's sort of generic sort of stuff where the Hills, the City, OC, Gossipville, those ones off the top of my head, but you know, Scrubs, 2.5 Men, Seinfeld sells for good money sometimes if you have the full set.
Yeah, there's a few of the outliers, isn't there? That when you do have the full set of something. Yeah. Yeah.
Madhead is horrible. Absolutely. Just can't sell that. But yeah.
Mm. Yeah, when I must admit, when I was doing DVDs, a couple of times I would pick something up and get home thinking, oh, this will be good because I've got the full series. Not. Shane from Soda City Flip says, I'm doing great, GG. Thanks. And John Roberts says, Rob knows true colours. Nice Kodak shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true colours. Very good, John.
True
That's
colours.
very funny. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We shall finish off now and say goodbye, and we will see you next week, hopefully.
If you want me, of course. So make sure you like and put in the comments
Yeah.
below if you want to have me here again. If not, hey, whatever. I'll
Don't give him the excuse not to be here.
I will happily sleep in on a Thursday morning after 7 o'clock.
All right.
Make sure you like the video. If you want to see me again next time, just write down in the comments, of course, afterwards. But yeah, it's been fun. I enjoyed myself. If you want to see me here again, I didn't even get to talk about what I was here to talk about, but that will be a next week thing. Maybe.
There you go. So yeah, do that, like and all that sort of stuff, because he's got something to talk about next week. Beautiful. Now,
hit the thumbs up, hit the alarm.